Okay, welcome back, creatures of the night, to another special episode, a special watch along and discussion episode with my very special guest, Keegan Dimitrijevic. Um, it is so great to have you back on the podcast, Keegan.
Thank you, man.
But tell the listeners what match you have chosen for us today.
So it's definitely an overlooked match, but I want to watch it just because there's two performers in there that had great chemistry. I picked Armageddon 2004, JBL defending the WWE title against the Undertaker, Booker T, and Eddie Guerrero. I picked it because it's just, again, it's a match that isn't talked about a lot, but it's a lot of fun if you take out the finish, which I'm sure we'll get to later. But again, it's just one of those very rare times that Undertaker and Eddie Guerrero had any interaction, and it's something to see in this match because they have like a 4-star mini match with each other.
Yeah, and me and Keegan were talking before the program about how I haven't seen this match in like maybe 2 or 3 years, and rewatching the finish, I remembered why I didn't see it in 2 to 3 years. Not to spoil anything, but a ghost from Undertaker's past, which I wish they would have left buried, makes his return at the end, and it leads to a downward spiral, caps off a horrible year for not only SmackDown and WWE, but for the Undertaker as well. And that's something we're going to be talking about as we watch this match, a rewrite, as you will, of the Undertaker's 2004 career. So I will queue up at 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 53 seconds for those of you who would like to join Keegan and myself in watching Armageddon 2004. And as I count down from 3, we will press play, and we will get the main event started.
I can't believe I talked you into this.
What?
I can't believe I talked you into this.
I can't believe I've been talked into this as well. On the podcast, I think I've made it clear that 2004 was not the best year for The Undertaker, and JBL as champion is not some of my fondest memories as a young adult watching wrestling. But I have Keegan to blame in suckering me into watching just an abysmal JBL championship match. But
the best match of his run.
But there's good points in having Eddie Guerrero and Undertaker in there as well. So kind of evens out the good with the bad, should we say.
Exactly.
So 1 hour, 55, 53 on Peacock. So hopefully there's no commercials that interrupt us. You know, we pray to the internet gods up there that everything goes smoothly for Peacock. So, and as I count down from 3, 2, 1, we shall press play now. Okay, and we are greeted with something I wish they'd bring back, these moving graphics.
Oh, I love the moving match graphics. They did them for Mania this year, but other than that, they don't use them anymore.
I know.
It's a shame.
Yeah, I love all the ones they did for Undertaker. You know, him in his boxing mode. That's great.
Yeah, and then he would punch it and then roll his eyes in the back of his head.
His SmackDown fist.
I miss the SmackDown fist, man. When they did the classic SmackDown Nigger, I thought they were going to bring the fist back, and they never did.
Yeah.
Shame.
That was
shame.
The letdown. Look at the
Teddy Long player.
Just taking away the championship of JBL. Just look at the talent in this match. You got Eddie Guerrero. You got Eddie Guerrero, JBL, Undertaker, and Booker T. You got 3 Hall of Famers and 1 future Hall of Famer, hopefully next year in The Undertaker.
I hope so. I mean, it's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just when?
Yeah, and you add in Teddy Long, another Hall of Famer. It's just all Hall of Fame talent in this whole rivalry.
All 4 of these guys were world champions, man. Undertaker 7-time, JBL the 1 reign, Eddie the 1 reign, and Booker with 5 WCW and a world heavyweight in the WWE.
It's unbelievable, right?
Man, I do wish around this time though Booker would have had the WWE title, because I was just always a fan of his work, and I think that they could have cut the JBL reign in half I mean, I wouldn't have minded if Booker took the title off him, and then, maybe Eddie gets the title back at some point. I think that would have been cool. But I mean, they were trying to build a top heel for John Cena, so I guess that's why they were doing the JBL heel run. But I think Eddie going heel and feuding with Cena for 21 would have been cool.
That's an interesting.
I think it would have been a good match too. I like their parking lot brawl in 03. I mean, there was something there. I mean, I think heel Eddie was fantastic, and Booker could have took the title off JBL, and then Eddie could have turned heel against Booker, winning the title, and then Guerrero could feud with Cena. I mean, that's something they could have done. I mean, if they wanted to cut the JBL run, but because I think Eddie did deserve another run.
I like the idea of how they built up the match, like how JBL cheated in fighting all these three guys.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like, it was like he was in trouble. He was going to lose one way or another, one of the three. All three actually everybody's a Texan in this match. Like, this is like the Texan Fatal 4-way.
Oh my gosh. I remembered that. Yes, everybody's a Texan in this match. Wow.
All four of them are Texans, yeah.
All four of them are Texans.
I forget where JBL's from in Texas. I forget, like, off the top of my head. Might be Houston, but I know Booker and Taker are from Houston. And Eddie's from El Paso.
El Paso. Oh, I don't know off the top of my head where JBL is from.
But nonetheless, they're all Texans, and I didn't mind the JBL run at the beginning. Like, I thought it was cool, but then it really, like, to me, like all the non-finishes, I just thought it kind of ran its course. Like, I wish Booker kind of would have took the title off him by the time, like, No Mercy hit. I think that would have been cool, but because this was around the time too that Booker deserved it.
Yeah, it's just funny in the backstage, everybody coming up to JBL, like, paying their respects.
Is that Joy Giovanni? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Or is that?
No, it's not Joy Giovanni. It's somebody else.
Yeah, I don't remember who that is.
I don't remember either.
But I remember Joy Giovanni used to be with JBL too. So I don't remember. I forget. Sorry for the wrestling nerds who are going to give me flack for that, but I don't remember.
Oh, don't worry. I don't. But I like the scene of, like, everybody's paying their respects. It's like they know he's going to lose.
Yeah, they're just like, Orlando Jordan's really selling it. Like, yeah, like giving him a hug, like, man, like, this might be your last day on Earth, so I love you, man.
Yeah, I like the idea, it's three guys who've been screwed over, and now they get their revenge.
Yeah,
as we see at the end, JBL still has a trick up his sleeve.
Unfortunately.
And we won't spoil that until the end, but it's
spoiler free. We're not dirt cheats.
It's not a good reveal, I should say that.
Yeah, man, it's too bad because I really liked the match up until the end. Like, I was really liking this match.
And I feel like that's something, that's consistent with some WWE matches. Like, you're totally invested in the match, and then the finish becomes complete garbage. And it's like, okay, I never want to rewatch this match again because I know what the finish is going to be.
It kind of, I get sometimes why the finish is happening, but other times it ruins it for me, and it's like, you think about a match and you're like, oh man, this could be like a match of the year. And then a finish happens and you just sour on it, but I try to, like, as much as I hate a lot of finishes, I try to not let them ruin the match for me in the end. Like, I'll be mad about it, when it happens, but then, like, in a few minutes, like, I'll try to rationalize with myself why they did that finish, and then I just let it go. Because a lot of people, like, hold grudges over a finish, and it's like, I just try to let it go, and it's wrestling. I mean, they're supposed to make you mad sometimes, and I'm just falling to it. I'm a fan, so I was mad at this finish for a different reason, though, because I didn't like it. So, but I appreciate the match, though, the 24 minutes before the finish.
Are you not sports entertained, as they say?
I'm professional wrestling, man. I'm not sports entertainment. I'm more pro wrestling, but
interesting to having the champion come out here first. It's like JBL.
Yeah, the champion comes out last.
Yeah, I think it would have been funnier to have him
Because
come out last?
I think they were selling it though, like he was coming out first, like because he was sitting in the gallows waiting for the other three guys to just completely massacre him. That's what I think they were trying to get at. That's why he went out first, because he had to sit there and wait for everyone else to come out and get stared down, like a 3-on-1 double or triple team, I should say.
No limousine here or anything. Just
JBL selling it too.
He's just walking down.
JBL's run too. I mean, JBL's a great heel. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think he's a fantastic heel. I'm like you said prior to going out, I'm usually not a fan of long title runs.
Yes.
Like, there's not really my thing. I think it's probably the short attention span in me. I'm not a guy for long title runs. Like, for me, it's like 6 months at most. Like, I can't go past that for the most part.
Yeah,
I like to see a change, I like to see a change every once in a while in new feuds and new guys at the top of the card. I don't like seeing the same stagnant thing going on. Like, I don't like to see like the same guys feud for a year straight over the title. I like to see something a bit different. That's why I kind of like this 4-way though, because this 4-way, kind of added some breath of fresh air into JBL's run. Because like you said, Booker had gotten screwed over, Eddie had gotten screwed over, and Undertaker had been screwed over. So it all made sense at the end of the year to put all 4 guys together and, make this match happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. As we were talking before we went on there about how I'm not a fan of long title reigns, just because it gives you the opportunity to fall out of favor with the product. And it gives you an opportunity to fall out of favor with the champion. And, you get the idea that the match becomes too predictable.
Exactly. And who's going to win. And I mean, sometimes predictability is okay, but when it's in a long title run and you already, kind of insinuate what's going to happen, then it is a bit predictable. But for example, like today, it's hard for guys to have a long title run because no matter whether you're a baby face or a heel, the crowd's going to change their mind regardless. So it's like look at Seth Rollins, for example, in like 19, like when he won the title from Brock, and then like a month into his run, he was getting booed, which I felt bad for him because I liked Seth's babyface, run, but that's what the crowd does, they just do stuff like that, and they don't want to wait. They just want the moment and then move on to the next moment, which I get that as a fan because I'm a fan too, but sometimes it's okay to have like a 4 or 5 month run, but to me, if it goes like a year, I get bored of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if it's the same finish to every match. Like, I wouldn't really mind as much, like, if there was good finishes to the matches, and then I'd kind of be okay with the run. But, like, if it's like a reign where it's just bad finish after bad finish after bad finish, it gets repetitive, and people start to lose, their interest of it.
And that's where they fell into the trap here with JBL. The matches and the finishes were repetitive. Yeah. And, it's just like,
I thought the last ride match with Taker was good, but
yeah,
except for the finish, the last ride match with Taker was designed so Undertaker wouldn't look, bad in defeat, which I kind of understand the point. But then if I look at it this way, though, like if neither guy can afford to lose, then why book the match right now?
Exactly.
Until a guy can, like to me, it reminds me of Reigns and McIntyre from last year from Survivor Series when they put those two guys together as world champions, and Roman was just coming back as the red hot heel champion, and then Drew was the babyface WWE champion. And even though the match was good, you can't really. It's hard to book a match when neither guy can afford to lose, and you have to sacrifice one for the other. But really, you don't have to, because you don't have to book the match right now. You can book that match in a year or two from now, and it's still going to be just as big.
Yeah. And
that's the way I look at it.
Quick interruption. We have the entrance of the Deadman. Because
the Armageddon A's on fire.
Yeah.
So I miss Armageddon, man.
Even with my volume turned almost all the way down, I still heard the immense crowd reaction when the gong hits. It's an iconic image of just him standing in the smoke.
There's just something fitting with Undertaker and Armageddon. It's just it goes together,
It goes together.
And like the Deadman's gonna reach Armageddon and pull you down the hell with him.
Yeah.
Just makes sense.
It's funny, he was on the Armageddon 99 poster. He was not even on the
event.
He
was injured yet.
He was in Armageddon 1000 with the Hell
in the Cell match. I love that match.
Yes. It's
classic Attitude Era brawl.
Such a good match. Just such a good match to watch back.
And Rikishi falling off the top. Oh, that was great. Great stuff.
Chef's kiss on that. Chef's kiss.
I love that match, and somehow Kurt Angle found a way to keep the title.
Oh,
somehow.
Again, I hate the finish.
I love the match, though. I mean, like, the whole match, like, to me, from start to near finish was good. I mean, it was just a classic. Like, Austin and Triple H feuding The Rock and Rikishi, you know, Undertaker feuding with Kurt Angle at the time. I mean, there was just so much going on at once, and I liked Vince trying to take down the Cell.
I love that. I love that, and then getting arrested and him kicking and saying, I own this.
So that was good stuff, man. I kind of wish Vince would have took down the finish to this match, but
well, he's the one responsible for the finish in this match.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's like, all right, guys are gonna have 24 minutes, great action, and then somehow, some way, we're gonna do this finish.
It's like McMahon is in the room here with me.
I can't talk like Vince. I tried, but a lot of people can do a Vince impression.
It's a lost art to do a Vince McMahon impression.
Almost everyone in the business can do it.
Oh, yeah. Undertaker does it.
I think they've learned it from so many years of being around him. You just know how Vince works. JBL's really selling it, man. Like, he's scared to absolute death.
Yeah.
That he's got 3 guys that he screwed over all at the same time wanting their vengeance.
No pun intended that he's scared to death.
Because of the Undertaker?
Undertaker.
The living dead man.
Oh, man, I love it. I love the hat coming off and everything.
Taker was in great shape here.
Yeah.
Like, he looked at his best here, like, physically.
Yeah, he just continues to look better and better, especially like 07 when he's Batista. He's so trim.
Like, I think from like 03 to 08, 09, he was in his best shape. Like, he was just incredible during that time space, like, in terms of how he looked.
Yeah.
Got himself, like after the hand injury when he came back in 03, he really just, like, looked good. And then he switched and back to the Deadman role in 04. And, you know, and he grew his hair back out.
Interesting. You had Undertaker as like a mix of dark brown and light brown goatee.
Yeah, like a ginger brown goatee.
Yeah. And ginger brown and like dark hair. It's like interesting look for the Deadman here.
Yeah, because I think he had that look in 06 too, didn't he?
Yeah.
For Kurt Angle, yeah, he grew out. He kind of let his hair go more natural a little bit.
Oh, Undertaker's taking it to Guerrero and Booker.
What a kick to Booker. And, man, Eddie's selling them right hands, man.
Oh, I know, right? Oh.
Literally, Bruce Pritchard said that Eddie Guerrero was like another Shawn Michaels. And it really, like, makes me think, like, if Taker and Guerrero would have had, like, that 30-minute singles match, how great it would have been.
I think it's something that WrestleMania could have had. I think WrestleMania was robbed of the opportunity to have Undertaker and Guerrero.
I wish. I mean, the thing is, though, it's like, let's say if Eddie didn't pass in 05 and he would have wrestled, I don't know, maybe like another 4 or 5 years or something, I think they would have probably done Taker and Eddie at 23 instead of Taker and Batista. As much as I love Taker and Batista, like, Taker and Eddie's box office, you can't not do that.
Interesting. I don't know what they would have done. Maybe they would have done 22. I don't know.
20. I mean, they could have, like, if they wouldn't have, because they wanted to do Taker and Kurt, and they wanted Kurt to break the streak, and Kurt didn't want to break it, and then so they did Taker and Mark Henry. But if, like, they didn't want to break it, they could have done Taker and Eddie. But I know the original plan was Eddie and Shawn.
Eddie and Shawn, yeah, because you have to think, because if Guerrero doesn't die, Mysterio doesn't win the Rumble,
he would have probably faced Randy Orton just in a regular feud. That's what I think would have happened. They would have dropped, like, all the Eddie stuff, and Ray and Orton would have just done their stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I think would have happened. Or I think Eddie, I honestly think like Eddie would have feuded with Shawn. I think, because that's what the plan was. And then Taker would have feuded with Kurt Angle, but not for the title.
Undertaker probably would have.
Because Taker really wanted Kurt.
Undertaker may have won the 06 Rumble then.
He could have, but I heard Taker really wanted Kurt for like 2 years in a row, like 21 and 22, because he wanted like that classic Mania match. And what I think could have happened is they could have probably done Eddie and Shawn, which would have been a classic. And then they could have done even like a 3-way between Orton, Batista, and Mysterio. Because I heard before the original plan was Orton and Batista for the belt.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
That's what their original plan was Orton and Batista were going to wrestle at 22 before Batista got injured. And then that's why they moved Kurt Angle to SmackDown.
Like Batista gets injured. I was thinking, yeah.
So then they could have done Batista and Orton, or they could have done a 3-way with Batista, Orton, and Mysterio, which I think they would have probably put Ray in the Money in the Bank match. That's what I think would have happened. Ray would have probably won in the Money in the Bank match, and then Orton and Batista would have done their match, which I would have put Ray in and made it a 3-way. I think it would have made it more intriguing. But they probably would have done Orton and Batista. Taker would have wrestled Kurt lower on the card, and then Eddie and Shawn. That's what I think probably would have ended up happening. And then maybe Taker and Eddie either later in 06 or at 23. But Taker and Eddie at Mania would have been like such a huge match.
Yeah, doesn't mean it could have happened at Mania. Like you said, it could have been like SummerSlam or Survivor Series.
It most likely probably would have been a SummerSlam program, but it's just it's so big. It's so big for Mania. Like, how do you like 2 of the best on SmackDown, 2 of the longest tenured guys on SmackDown up to that point, and it would have been something we've seen. Especially like Eddie as the heel world champion and Undertaker chasing the title. I think that would have been a great story to have told.
Yeah. And as we just saw here, Undertaker battling back from a 2-on-1 attack from Booker and Guerrero, who are now taking it to JBL in the ring.
Boom. Nice double team.
You really feel like, JBL's really outmatched here. He's going to lose.
And then Taker just took a axe kick from Booker T.
Yeah, right up to the outside.
Hey, Booker's another guy too who was like always consistently good.
Yeah, it's interesting dynamic here, seeing Booker and Guerrero team up.
Whoa, what a heel from Guerrero, man.
It's such an interesting dynamic.
Like, because all 4 of these guys are such different performers.
Yeah.
Like all 4 of them have their own unique, different style.
Exactly.
And it all meshes together when you put them in a match.
Yeah. Oh.
Opposites attract. There we go, Booker and Eddie.
Yeah. Now
they all go for the roll up. No. Here we go. Eddie's gonna get clobbered. Boom! Headbutt. Taker's just going wild now.
Yeah. He's had enough.
Booker. Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut of Eddie.
Oh.
And now circling in on the champion. Let's see.
JBL.
Sidewalk slam to the 300-pound JBL.
That's power right there to pick up JBL like that. Oh.
And to even like hold him up, lift him, and then drop him back down.
And also pick up a running JBL.
A running 300-pounder. I mean,
Guerrero to the outside now. Oh, Booker now. Undertaker gets to capitalize on.
Man. Let's see. I love the way Taker broke up the counter just by punching JBL in the face.
Yeah, no, right?
just classic Undertaker.
Yeah.
Here we go. JBL's gonna get kicked now. Undertaker's gonna take it to the outside.
He's got JBL with a great ring awareness just to roll out of the ring.
I mean, when you're against Undertaker, you're gonna retreat in any way you can.
Oh yeah, any way you can.
Taker with the body shots now.
And the steel steps again, like they showed in the replay package. He tombstone JBL on steel steps at SummerSlam.
And then he chokeslammed him through his own limousine.
Classic.
Look at Eddie just leaping on Taker.
I remember ordering that pay-per-view and seeing that chokeslam at the end. Loved it.
That was a good spot, though.
It was a great spot.
And then JBL sold it like he was like dead. Came out like,
I love neck brace JBL. It's classic.
it was good stuff. There goes Booker over the barricade.
Right onto the staff.
Oh, JBL with the poke to the eye. What a heel.
Oh, classic Ric Flair heel tactic.
All he's got to do is the chop block now.
Yeah. And you just need the panting and Vince McMahon low blow.
Oh, back body drop.
It's just so easy to get lost in these matches.
It's just nostalgic to watch now. Looking back at it, it's like, man, like just so much fun to look at and see like where all four of these guys are now. Like three, like you said, three of them are in the Hall of Fame. One's gonna be probably have his own induction ceremony at some point.
I hope it's just him.
Look at Eddie begging off. Look at Eddie begging off. Boom! Gets a punch for it. Boom.
And it's so weird to think, a year from now, there's no more Guerrero.
Unfortunately, man, it's sad.
It's so weird. It's so weird to like have these where you can pinpoint the things.
And like he was so prominent on the card, he was always at the main event scene, and then all of a sudden you don't have one of your main eventers anymore.
Exactly.
And then you got to replace them, which you can't because they haven't replaced them since.
Yeah, and it's so eerie and weird. You can like say
because the next Armageddon the year later was like Batista and Rey Mysterio like doing like a tribute tag match for him against Big Show and Kane. They were wearing like the Eddie Guerrero armbands and stuff, and
you get Undertaker and Orton in the classic Hell in the Cell.
Love that match. We should watch that at some point. I've watched that match 4 times as I can count.
I love the Orton one. The last watch along we did Edge, correct?
Yes, SummerSlam. Yeah. Oh wait.
We next one we have to do Orton.
Okay. Remind me. I'll watch that again.
Yeah, we have to do the Orton one.
Sounds good. Look at JBL had such good right hands though.
Unless you sucker me into another horrible finish match to watch.
I promise. JBL had great strikes.
Yeah. He had all 4 of these guys, such like you said, such different styles, but yet also they bring out some good similarities in each other. Like as you saw, JBL and Undertaker, good striking ability.
And then Booker's like an all-rounder that can do a bit of everything. And then Eddie Guerrero's the charismatic technician, like they all have their own strengths.
Good high flyer.
Yeah, like Eddie could do like pretty much anything. Booker could adapt to anybody's style and have a good program and a good match. And JBL was the classic kind of Stan Hansen like brawler, and Undertaker was like the whole package too with the gimmickry.
Yeah.
It's just.
And you're seeing a new side of Undertaker in this match, using ropes as far as like leverage and submission,
and then punching Eddie in the back of the head.
Yeah. You're not getting a total heel Undertaker, but he's using heelish tactics.
It was like earlier in the year in 04 when he punched John Cena with the chain.
Yeah.
On the SmackDown match. Yeah. Which that was a good match too. A lot of people don't talk about that one. But
he uses the championship to get himself DQ'd at SummerSlam.
Yeah. He's just Undertaker. He does what he wants. Yeah. He ain't a babyface or a heel. He's just Undertaker.
Yeah. He doesn't play by the rules, and
he'll just do what he wants.
Yeah. Like he said when he, I think a few years ago when he came back, he can go to either brand. He'll make his presence known.
Yeah. Yeah, in 17, he's like, I'll just go where I want when I want.
I want. It's like a true outlaw. They have, there's
just
a strict set of codes, but they are able to
break them all.
Exactly.
Man. I think see Taker's gonna try and go for old school on Booker.
It's such a good spot. It still pops the crowd.
He actually learned it from Don Jardine.
Yeah.
Because he was taking it from him after he retired, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm taking that spot." And now Lance Archer uses it in AEW and that.
I noticed. I just watched AEW a couple days ago, and I noticed he does that.
It's like a tribute. But we all know it's Taker's. We all know it's Taker's move though, and like people will try to emulate it, and that's cool. I mean, as long as it's used prominently, you know.
I could tell JR on commentary so wants to say Undertaker.
Undertaker, yeah. He could just say Mean Mark Callis.
He's so
or Texas Red.
he so wants to say as reminiscent of Undertaker, but he knows McMahon will come down on him. What are you doing mentioning Undertaker on that B+?
Did you hear that we were supposed to get like a Mean Mark Callis figure in the Legends line or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Legends 14.
1000% getting it.
Oh, I don't know if you ever watch a YouTuber called Kyle Peterson. I love Kyle Peterson.
I don't know. I don't remember. No.
I love Kyle Peterson.
I'll check him out.
He loves Mean Mark Callis.
Guillotine leg drop to Eddie. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that channel. It remind me.
Yeah,
what a clothesline.
Oh,
love right after the guillotine leg drop, man. JBL just hit him with a massive lariat.
I love JBL's clothesline, but such a clean transition there from the leg drop into that.
Yeah, they set it up perfectly.
Yeah.
And the all Texas 4-way.
That's what this should have been.
Hey, they should have gave it like a Texas death match stipulation. That would have been so cool.
They should have billed it as something about Texas there. They should have had this in Texas.
A Texas death match 4-way.
Yeah, they should have had this in Texas. Bill it as people from Texas.
That would have been cool. It makes Stone Cold the referee.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say have Stone Cold be the because Stone Cold's he's great for being special guest referees.
I love trying to do a Stone Cold impression, and I just laugh at myself.
Oh,
because I'm Canadian, I don't got a Texas drawl.
Stone Cold's very, very hard to do. You got to have that raspiness and everything.
I can't. I've tried to do it. I can't do it. You piece of trash. I sound like John Laurinaitis, man.
Yes, it's so easy to slip into John Laurinaitis. Oh, I remember the ladder. I somehow remember the ladder in this match. Yes.
Him and Eddie and Taker did some good spots in this match with the ladder.
Oh, Undertaker just getting up from a clothesline and immediately sent right back down with a ladder shot. It's tough. It's tough being the Undertaker in this match here. It's tough.
Oh man, he showed a lot of resilience though as the match goes on. He just completely goes in Deadman mode.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that iconic image of Guerrero and Taker in this match coming up.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, it's Taker again.
He
gets in the ring. Gets in the ring and sent right back down.
If memes or whatever would have been around back in 2004, people would be.
I'm surprised memes weren't around back bigger in 2004.
Yeah, they weren't really around, but if they would have been, the people would be using it. Booker had great facial expressions.
Oh yeah. All these guys are here. Great facial expressions. Even Taker. When he wants to pull out a good facial expression, he definitely does.
Especially with the tongue out.
Oh man. The Taker's up again. Oh, I can't remember if anybody goes to the announce table or not.
I remember.
Oh yeah.
Someone goes through it. Trust me.
Not even what.
It's like a tradition. It's a tradition every pay-per-view to break at least one announce table.
Not even 30 seconds after I mentioned that, the announce table gets broken.
JBL went right through it. The last ride.
I can't believe the SmackDown announce team's table gets broken before the Spanish table.
Poor Spanish announce table, man. They always break their tables. I don't know why. Feel bad for those guys, man. They always get their table broken.
Yeah.
Why can't they break Michael Cole and Taz's table, man?
Cole and Taz got it first, though, in this match.
I actually really like that commentary duo of Cole and Taz. I like those two guys.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Much strength to carry JBL for that last ride.
And still somehow lift him up.
I know, right? Oh yeah, I love that duo of Taz and Cole. Always did. That's my earliest SmackDown memories. Cole and Taz.
So are mine. My earliest SmackDown memories are like Cole and Taz, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, Eddie. They just all those guys. Oh man.
Guerrero's in the ring. Undertaker spots him. It's like Undertaker's match for the taking here. Everybody's down. He's up.
Him and Eddie had so many good spots in this match.
Oh, setting him up for a tombstone. Oh.
Hey, this is back when people had signs in the crowd.
Oh, I missed the sign.
I missed the sign. So do I. A lot of people don't bring them anymore.
It was Twitter before Twitter.
Yeah, because like people would communicate with the signs. Yeah. The guy behind me can't see, and you're like this. Oh, stuff like that, man. That's how the fans communicated. It was good stuff.
I know.
I miss it. There we go.
Oh, you see that Eddie takes the title in his hands. You know, it's very reminiscent of Triple H grabbing the sledgehammer at WrestleMania.
Batista, yeah.
Or Batista, yeah, and coming up and they smack him as he goes down. It's classic. Such a classic spot.
It's a good spot. It's still effective.
Yeah. And
it's realistic. And here goes Eddie for the frog splash.
Oh my gosh.
No, I don't think anyone ever did a better frog splash than Eddie. Oh,
2 frog splashes on The Undertaker. And still
Eddie and Glenn, man.
Oh, here it comes. There it is.
Boom.
That perfect meme quality right there.
Oh, perfect. Eddie's face. The chemistry was there, man.
I know.
It was there. Here's Eddie trying to run away. Oh, low blow.
I know.
And now he's bringing in the ladder. Here we go.
Oh man.
I mean, these two guys had like a classic by themselves in this match.
I know. It's just like there's another instance where Undertaker is in a tag fatal 4-way, and just like him, it's just him and another person, and it's just like having a classic with them.
It was like him and Shawn in the Royal Rumble match. The 07 Rumble. Yeah. Like those two guys literally had a mini match with each other, and that's what that match is remembered for.
Yeah.
That was good stuff too. Taker just has chemistry with almost everybody, man.
Yeah.
There we go.
Splash from the top of the ladder. Can it be done? Oh my God! I can't believe how much Undertaker took in this. Just like 5 minutes.
It just from Eddie.
Yeah. In this less than 5 minutes, Undertaker's taken 3 frog splashes, a ladder to the face, a low blow, a championship to the skull.
Takes a lot to put down the Deadman, and this ain't even WrestleMania.
Oh my God. Oh, but the referee pulled out the last second by JBL.
Damn JBL, man.
Oh my God. It's classic Eddie Taker. Yeah, it's too bad. Just like Jericho. We only got Undertaker, Jericho in that triple threat with Big Show.
Yeah, and I think and they never had a singles match on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They did one SmackDown match, and they get 09. That's the most memorable one I have. I
think it's leading up to that Survivor Series match.
Yeah. A Jericho in his book gave that match like 4.5 stars. he thought it was great.
It's just
it was, I mean, like Taker and Jericho is another instance too. It's like, man, how did that not happen from all the years they were there?
I know. So another thing we were robbed about.
Like no like pay-per-view match with those guys or nothing, minus the triple threat with Show.
Yeah, I can't believe it. That could have easily been the championship match at Survivor Series, Jericho and Undertaker.
That could have even been a WrestleMania match at some point.
Yeah.
Like it was like it's big enough that it could have been, or even a SummerSlam program. I mean, there's so much, but it's sad. It's sad some of those things didn't happen, but
I know. And it's
I mean,
sad,
it could have happened.
it's sad they won't happen.
But at least we got this 4-way minus the finish.
Oh no, which I think is coming up soon.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's
Oh no.
because we're Undertaker fans. We don't like this finish.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. Like I just talked about on last week's episode, Vengeance 02 with Angle and Rock.
I love that match.
See, that's the match Undertaker loses, but the finish is great. You know, Undertaker just barely misses.
It was an unpredictable finish. Yeah, just right at the last second, he was 1 second too late.
Last second, and when it comes down for 3, he just hits the Rock. Then
it was a great match. That's probably one of my favorite triple threats of all time. That triple threat was insane, man. Like all the finishers, they were taking each other's finishers and false finishes all over the place, but they were good false finishes. I mean, just so much fun.
It's such a great spot fest to see them take each other's finishers.
Some spot fests are bad, but some are good, and that was a good instance of a spot fest. It was just so well done. And
I think it was like back to back.
Yes.
I think Rock gives Undertaker a choke slam, then Angle hits Rock with the people's elbow, then
Undertaker uses the Angle slam.
The Angle slam. It's like back to back to back. It's perfect.
Taker's just choke slamming everybody now.
I know. And did you see that back and forth with the ring ropes for that leg drop?
Yeah. Extra elevation.
Yeah. Hogan could never.
Taker's got a really good leg drop though, especially the guillotine leg drop on the apron. I love that spot.
Love that spot. JBL.
Oh no! Here's the finish.
Stop! Oh no! Oh God! Oh my God! Awful! I can't believe it. For those of you who are not watching, Heidenreich has reemerged from Undertaker's past after being beaten the month prior at Survivor Series. He has reemerged to take the Undertaker out of this match, which unfortunately sets up a secondary Heidenreich encounter at the Royal Rumble.
Blackpool Slam. You know what though? The casket match wasn't. I rewatched it not too long ago, and it wasn't as bad as I remember. It was a decent blow-off match.
Yeah, I'm just glad Undertaker won. That's the only reason why I rewatch it.
Well, I mean, Kane coming out in the casket was a great sequence.
Classic spot right there to have Kane.
You know, I heard the original plan was like Snitsky and Heidenreich against the Brothers of Destruction for Mania 21, and I think Taker turned it down or something.
Thank God.
He wanted to work. Yeah, and he wanted to work Randy Orton or something. Like Undertaker really wanted to work Orton, which was a great idea in retrospect.
Great. And I commend Vince McMahon for finally listening to something.
I did love the Taker and Orton program though.
Yes.
Oh, set up. JBL's really selling it. There we go. Nah, Heidenreich again. It's okay. Undertaker took care of him a month later at the Royal Rumble.
I couldn't stand in a third Heidenreich match, please. I'm glad it didn't go that route.
I didn't mind the casket match, but it was okay.
I mean, if they would have done the Brothers versus him and
yeah, for Mania, no. Maybe on like a SmackDown, but
no. No.
JBL steals the victory, man.
Again, steals the victory from underneath them. A cheap clothesline from hell to Booker T finishes this match because Heidenreich has taken the Undertaker out. It's just horrible. Such a horrible.
I like the match though. I did like the match. I mean, up until the last minute or so.
I agree. I think the match, having not watched it in a few years, it's a lot better than I remember, but the finish is still just as awful as I remember. But
Taker and Eddie made this match.
You can see the
They're
face
all mad
of
now.
anger, the face of anger on the face of the Undertaker.
Heidenreich using the Cobra clutch.
God.
What a clothesline, though.
I can't get over Heidenreich in red. Just can't take him seriously.
Look, he looks like Brock Lesnar from when Brock was in New Japan. Brock wore red gear.
Don't ever say Heidenreich looks like Lesnar. It comes out
He
so
did
bad. It comes
a
out
red Brock Lesnar from New Japan.
Oh, it comes out so bad. Oh, Heidenreich, he reminds me of Brock Lesnar. You just insulted somebody there.
Well, in terms of looks, it's pretty similar in my opinion. He's like a mix of Daniel Puder and Brock Lesnar.
And that ends the show. The camera on the Undertaker looking pissed off as ever that he was just cheated out of which seems to be the case in most Undertaker championship matches. They find a way to screw the Undertaker out of winning the championship.
Well, so he doesn't take a pin because they don't want Undertaker taking too many pins, which is understandable. That's why they would have like Booker or Eddie take a pin in a multi-man match like that. So then Undertaker don't have to take the pin, but
yeah, but it's just an ongoing thing in his career, stemming from Yokozuna. Being screwed out of titles in big matches. But as this question was posed, earlier on in this episode, how would you rewrite The Undertaker's 2004 career?
Well, if you look here, it starts at WrestleMania 20.
For those of those people who are not watching the YouTube and listening to the podcast, promote what you just showed me.
Okay, so this summer when I was off university, I decided to write one of 3 books dedicated to The Undertaker. And it's about The Undertaker streak and how I believe it shouldn't have been broken. And I go through each one of Undertaker's WrestleMania matches, which is 28, except I did add WrestleManias 10, 16, and 35, which means there would be he would be 27. So there's about 30 matches in here from 30 years of The Undertaker, and I go through each one, which ones I would have kept or which ones I would have got rid of. And since we're talking about 2004, I go through the entire feud of The Undertaker leading up to WrestleMania 20 and go through the match itself. And spoiler alert, it's not Kane. So
Kane.
No, it's not, because it's already been done. And I came up with another story.
I agree. If I would, and I would get to me later, but if I would rewrite 04, WrestleMania 20 would not be Kane as well.
So to me, with the feud I booked, the circumstances aligned up perfectly because back in the Monday Night Wars, you had one juggernaut in WWE and you had one juggernaut in WCW. One was 21-0 at WrestleMania and the other one was 173-0. So what you get, you bring in Goldberg in 03. Because Goldberg and Undertaker in 03 and 04 would have been huge, way bigger than 19. So you bring in Goldberg. He's a hot commodity. He hasn't wrestled North America in 2 years. He comes in, he beats everybody, goes on a mini streak again. Since you're only going to have Goldberg for 1 year, do what you can.
Which they do.
So do what you can. Bring in Goldberg, have him go through Raw and go through SmackDown. Don't put him on a select brand since you're only going to have him for a year. Have him come in and beat some of the top guys, whoever, Shawn, whoever, Eddie, whoever. So you bring in Goldberg, and Goldberg has an undefeated streak in WWE now. And then at Survivor Series, instead of Undertaker and Vince, it's Undertaker and Brock for the WWE title.
Ooh.
And from what I remember in my book, it's a last man standing match with Undertaker and Brock. So it's not Biker Chain or Buried Alive. It's just a last man standing match. And Goldberg, who's still undefeated in the WWE, kind of beats around the bush, saying that he's looking to kick someone else's ass next. And the person's ass that he wants to kick is someone who calls themselves the American Badass. But he thinks that guy's gone soft. By that time, Undertaker's gone soft. So he interferes in the match with Brock. Undertaker's about to win the title. And he spears Undertaker off the stage. Off the Survivor Series stage. And the whole thing, like how Undertaker and Batista did at Backlash 07.
Yes.
The whole stage goes whoosh, and like just kind of disintegrates and burns apart, and Goldberg sets that up. So then Undertaker for the next, like, it's kind of like the same storyline with Kane where Undertaker's like haunting Goldberg, like where like the lights go out or the ring kind of like goes crazy or whatever and breaks, and So, and then there's like, I'll actually try and find it right now as I'm speaking, because I don't remember the exact words, but there was a quote in here that I put for Undertaker and Goldberg for this. And I thought it would be cool because like Raw had the big Titantron back then. So like Goldberg's, yeah, like so Goldberg's on Raw and whatever and doing something, and like maybe not cutting a promo, but like maybe either like someone's talking, like Eric Bischoff or something's talking for him, or he's just standing there or something. So I put this. So on the Raw Titantron, it says like, fear is not love. Love is not fear, where it all begins again, which was the tagline for WrestleMania 20. It says Goldberg, December 27th, 1966 to March 14, 2004, rest in peace. The match is set. Undertaker Goldberg is set for WrestleMania 20. And the match isn't going to go long, need I mind you. It's probably not going to go more than 10 minutes. But it's a spectacle that people would want to see, with Goldberg spearing Undertaker through like the barricade and through the table and everything. And Undertaker still makes the comeback, hits a tombstone, which Goldberg kicks out of. But then Undertaker hits a second one after 10 minutes. They just completely, like, it's just a wild brawl. And they just beat each other up for 10 minutes straight, and Undertaker gets the win and gives Goldberg his first loss in WWE and sends him packing until 2016.
Wow.
And then Undertaker comes back because that's how I would have wrote Goldberg off. And then Undertaker comes back. Undertaker comes back as the Deadman. He's still undefeated, and he's going to run through SmackDown now. Now that he's taken out the other big dog in the yard, he's the only one left.
Now, since you're having Undertaker, as you said, Undertaker Lesnar at Survivor Series, did you have Undertaker Lesnar at No Mercy?
Yeah, so No Mercy was before Survivor Series in 2003.
Yes.
So Undertaker and Brock would still do their match. I mean, I wouldn't have had it be a biker chain match, but it would have been like some other gimmick match or whatever.
Now, would you rather have Undertaker win that one and then defending against Brock and then loses it to Brock?
I probably would have done like Taker. I probably would have done like Taker, Brock, and Kurt in a three-way for No Mercy.
Okay.
And then have Kurt take the fall. And then Kurt and Cena is set up for Survivor Series instead of No Mercy. Okay. And then Taker and Brock is set up that way, because Undertaker wouldn't have gotten pinned in the No Mercy triple threat. And then Taker and Brock is set up for Survivor Series, where then Taker can be written off until WrestleMania.
Interesting.
And then you still could have done like your Raw and SmackDown match too in the show. And you could have built your show around like Brock Taker, Last Man Standing, and then Team Raw and Team SmackDown, and John Cena and Kurt Angle. And then like Guerrero and Benoit, champion versus champion, WWE versus World Heavyweight. That's probably how I would have built that show. And then, that's how you could have wrote off Taker up until Mania. And then it gives Goldberg something to get written off with that makes sense.
Yeah.
By finally losing. And if you're going to lose to someone, losing the Taker is probably the way you'd go out. So, and then Goldberg wouldn't come back till 2016 to do his stuff with Brock.
Okay. Well, we have a similar one, but I'll let you continue on through 04, and then I'll run through my 04.
Okay, so then pretty much in 04, him and Eddie feud for the WWE title. Taker takes the title from Eddie at around SummerSlam time. Taker holds the belt for a little bit. JBL instead goes to the U.S. title picture. And then JBL and Cena feud in 04 instead of 05. The exact same feud, except it's for the U.S. title. It ends at 21. Ends right before 21, where Cena goes for the WWE title, because I would have done JBL and Cena a bit earlier instead of Mania. So JBL and Cena do the U.S. title stuff while Taker's feuding with Eddie. And then eventually you get a Taker, Eddie, and Kurt three-way, which I think would have been good. And then when Kurt's back from injury, but then Eddie turns heel to beat Undertaker for the title again at around Survivor Series time in 04. Because Eddie would go heel, and heel Eddie would face John Cena at WrestleMania 21 for the title.
Oh, interesting.
And then Undertaker, because he lost to Eddie, because I would have had Undertaker lose to Eddie clean at the Royal Rumble. So Undertaker loses to Eddie clean at the Rumble. And then at No Way Out, they do a chamber match, which would be Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, John Cena, and Booker T. Like the 6 top SmackDown guys. And then Undertaker is dominating the entire chamber match because he's like PO'd that he lost the match clean to Eddie and he has something to prove. And then from under the pod, Randy Orton pops out from under the pod and RKO's Undertaker, costs him the match, says And then he says he's going to kill the legend of the Undertaker, and the Undertaker's gone soft. And then there's your WrestleMania 20. So it's the same process as WrestleMania 20. He comes back as the Deadman, but then he loses one match. So Orton thinks he can pick the bones, and then Undertaker completely destroys him at WrestleMania like he did.
Oh, so that's how you. So would set up Orton almost like how the secondary Michaels was set up.
Yes, exactly. So like Orton would be talking about like the Legend Killer stuff in January and stuff, and how he's like, RKO'd Slaughter and Jake Roberts and whoever else he's RKO'd. And then he thinks in his mind Undertaker is vulnerable. So even though he's not, this is what Orton thinks. Like to the fans, Undertaker's not vulnerable, but to Orton, he thinks it. So he pops out from under one of the pods and then RKO's Undertaker, and like Eddie or Kurt can pin Taker, and then in like the final three, and then costs Undertaker the match. So Undertaker's PO that he lost his chance, and then there's WrestleMania 21 match. Still the same build-up, though, because the build-up was great. So
yeah. So when do you have Taker taking the championship? Do you have him taking it at Great American Bash, like where JBL took it?
I was thinking SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
Because I think Eddie deserved a longer run. And then for the next 2 months, you can have like Eddie getting really desperate. And then by the time Survivor Series or Armageddon hits, and comes, that's when Eddie cheats to win the title back. Because Eddie's trying to play by the rules as the babyface, but he's really going mad because he's mad that he lost the title to the Undertaker. And then he like hits the Undertaker in the head with a chair when the ref's down low, blows him, hits him with a frog splash with the chair on top, 1, 2, 3. And then Eddie goes full heel to set him up for John Cena.
And then after Undertaker loses, you have him do the rematch at the Royal Rumble.
Yep, and Eddie wins clean that one. Because that's where Orton's going to get delusional and think that he can target the Undertaker. Because he saw Eddie Guerrero do it. So, and it's a very rare clean loss for the Undertaker. This would be like Undertaker's first clean loss since like Brock in 02. So he would end up losing that match to Eddie at the Rumble, which would probably be a 5-star match. And because like if you're gonna make Eddie a heel champion, he has to win clean every once in a while. Otherwise, his title reign's not gonna mean as much, and it's not gonna mean as much when John Cena wins.
Cost JBL cost.
So Eddie wins that match, and then Undertaker gets screwed by Orton in the chamber, and then it leads to WrestleMania 21.
And that match plays out as it did.
Yes, I wouldn't change a thing. That feud was fantastic. Feud of the year.
So that's your year span.
That's my 04 to 05 Taker, yeah. And then 05 doesn't change. Him and Orton just keep feuding because that was bloody wonderful. So 06 I would have changed a lot.
Yeah, and believe me, when we do our next one, the Hell in the Cell with Orton, we can rewrite Undertaker's 06.
Sounds good. I already have it all in my head.
Yeah, because since we are talking at the end of 05, and 05 is relatively perfect.
For Undertaker, yeah.
Yeah. So now we'll focus on 06.
Yes, sounds good. That one needs some work. Great call, Lee. As much as respect I have for him, not the feud I wanted for 06.
No, please. Shades of Giant Gonzalez.
I didn't mind the Kennedy feud. That was okay. I like the Armageddon match.
I love the Armageddon match. Yeah, the other two were murky at best.
The nasty chair shot though at Survivor Series. Undertaker.
Undertaker's
that was a nasty shot.
His hands slip a few times now and then.
That was a good chair shot though. I mean, that's like I'd have CTE getting that shot. But
I know people today like to pick apart chair shots, but at the time, everybody loves the stuff.
Oh yeah, because no one knew. I mean, but looking back at it,
nobody cares. It's entertainment. Everybody wants to
see. I love that chair shot though. It's like that's the one thing I remember from their match at Survivor Series. That first blood match. I remember the chair shot. That's the one thing I remember, and it wasn't even in the match. It was after the match.
I remember the chair shot, and I remember the microphone.
Yeah, and then Taker took his glove off, started punching Kennedy on top of the head.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. I mean, but yeah, we can rebook Taker's 06.
Yeah, we can. So now I'm put on the spot for his rewriting his 04.
Yeah.
Apparently, you've definitely put more time into this than I have, because it's like I like to think sometimes it's early stuff I would rebook and everything. So '04 gets lost in the shuffle a few times. But I like your idea of Goldberg, but I think at WrestleMania 20 I would have taken Lesnar there. And the way I
Another
would,
guy you could have written off too.
yeah, I think I would have kept No Mercy as it is, the biker chain match, kept Vince interfering, so it sets up Survivor Series, the Buried Alive. But I would do Undertaker defeating Vince the way he defeated Mankind. I would have him bury McMahon alive, and the referee sees he's buried to the extent Undertaker's declared the winner, but Undertaker goes rampage. He couldn't stand the way Vince treated him, couldn't stand the build up to this match. He has to have McMahon pay. So he's just throwing away the referees every time they try and get up there for him. And he just had enough. He has to put an end to Vince McMahon. So as he's going to the payloader, it explodes like it did, but instead of Kane, you get Lesnar again. Another ghost from Undertaker's past. Undertaker can't defeat Lesnar. Lesnar knows it. So it's the ghost that keeps reappearing at Undertaker's. When Undertaker's most vulnerable, that's the ghost that keeps coming back, is Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar, he delivers an F5 to the Undertaker. Undertaker's laid out. He drags Vince McMahon out of the burial pit, throws Undertaker in, and McMahon pours the dirt on Undertaker just like it is. It's done. Lesnar declares, he's gotten rid of the Undertaker. He's no more. But as we've seen with Kane, now Lesnar has to deal with a different type of Undertaker. He's only dealt with the badass. Now he gets the Deadman. You get the Deadman Undertaker at WrestleMania 20. It's the last. Lesnar's leaving. It's the last thing for Lesnar. I would say 10 to 12 minutes. How you booked Goldberg, and I think 12 minutes is how long Kane goes. So
about that, yeah.
I think it goes 12 to 15. That's perfect. Undertaker finally puts the ghost behind him. He's able to put Lesnar away with the tombstone. I think your idea is good. 2 tombstones.
Yeah.
2 tombstones to Goldberg. I would give 2 to Lesnar. And I would say after the match, he either delivers a third one to Lesnar before leaving, or he puts him in a casket, locks him away. It's over. It's like symbolically, not only you're driving Lesnar away from WWE, you're driving him away from the Undertaker. He's done. He defeated him. So I think,
you know what? I love that booking because it's storybook, and you're gonna laugh at me, but that story is very similar to Undertaker and Brock in this book from WrestleMania 32. It's so similar.
You moved Lesnar to 32.
And in the same cell match they had in 15, except for the finish.
Let me see who you have for 30, because if I was rebooking 30, I would have Cena.
It's John Cena. Yeah, I have Cena for 30, and then I moved Brock to 32. In the same cell match they had at 15, I put it 32, except the finish changes with Taker going over.
Perfect.
Like Undertaker calls out Brock to challenge him in this, because he's never beaten Brock. Yep. And he remembers from No Mercy 02 the beating he took inside Hell in a Cell as the American Badass.
And now the roles get reversed.
And now he's the Deadman, and he says, I want you in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
As the Deadman, and you're not going to survive, and Undertaker ends up winning. It'd be Brock's only pinfall loss since returning.
Yeah. That's how I would book 20, and that's how I think I would book 32. If I was still keeping Lesnar at 20, I would put Lesnar again at 32. He wants revenge.
It'd be a great idea. Yeah.
Lesnar, because he remembers 12 years ago, or you can even keep Lesnar at 30 for 10 years ago, so it's like a symbolic number.
That's true. Yeah.
He's 10 years older. He's more rugged. He's had more life experience. He could take down the Undertaker. Undertaker's 10 years older, but still, youth and everything else, ego gets caught up with Lesnar, and he still succumbs now. But instead of 2, he succumbs to 3 tombstones, just like the first Kane.
And it makes total sense.
That's how I would book 20. I would book, everything leads up to it perfectly as it did. But instead of Kane, you just take out Kane, you add in Lesnar. And, you know, instead of Vince winning, because Vince had no chance of winning that match. That was just an awful finish. Awful finish. They should have just done it like Mankind. Undertaker beats Mankind on paper, but at the end of the day, Undertaker's the one in the dirt. And, you know, Lesnar gets the mind games. He gets the lightning. He gets the shaking ring. He gets an Undertaker he hasn't experienced before. And then 2 tombstones later, Lesnar's driven away from the company.
I love the idea of it.
And the next one would be Judgment Day. I guess you can keep Booker in my booking, because I'm trying to think who else be good at
Well,
that.
Kurt Angle was injured, and then JBL and Eddie were doing their thing, and
Yeah, unless they want to. Ooh, I think I will take JBL against Taker at Judgment Day.
yeah, and then do like what, Eddie and Booker for the title.
Do Eddie and Booker.
That'd been good.
Yeah, I would take JBL at Judgment Day. I would have next one's the Great American Bash.
Yeah.
So that, and I don't know if I would bring back Paul Bearer. That's the
Looking back at it, I mean,
yeah, because then you have to get rid of Paul Bearer. And the Concrete Crip match is something, you know.
yeah, something I'd like to forget.
Yeah, I would think. So you're keeping the title on Guerrero until SummerSlam, huh?
Yes.
I'm just thinking if I wanted Booker T to beat Guerrero at Judgment Day and then Undertaker beats Booker. And then Guerrero wants his title rematch against Undertaker at SummerSlam. Undertaker defeats them, and then that drives Guerrero mad. I don't know. I think I'm going that way. I think I'm going different.
Nice.
Yeah. I think I'm taking out JBL at Judgment Day. Booker T defeats Guerrero for the title there. Great American Bash, Undertaker defeats Booker T for the title. And it can have Guerrero and JBL for the #1 contendership at Great American Bash. Guerrero wins. You have Undertaker and Guerrero at SummerSlam. And then Undertaker defeats Guerrero, and then that drives it to No Mercy. So No Mercy the next one?
No Mercy's next.
Yeah. No Mercy's the next one. And you can have Undertaker because I want to get Undertaker and Guerrero to Survivor Series. So
Maybe do like a 3-way.
You can do the Armageddon match at No Mercy.
Yeah, just with a different finish.
Yeah, you can do JBL, Guerrero, Booker T, and Undertaker. Undertaker's the champion. You can have, and that be happening at No Mercy. And then it's almost like Undertaker barely wins. He barely he can tombstone JBL or Booker T, not Guerrero. Guerrero demand a rematch at Survivor Series where Undertaker, it all started for the Undertaker.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, and then Guerrero cheats to win at Survivor Series. And then at Armageddon, you can get the rematch, and then you can have Undertaker. I'm trying to think who else is on the roster at this time at Armageddon.
Kurt.
Is he back by then?
Yeah, Kurt was back at SummerSlam.
Okay. I would have Angle interfere, causing the Undertaker to technically win at Armageddon, but Guerrero keeps the championship. Taker faces Angle at Royal Rumble, and then Guerrero keep the championship, and then Undertaker defeats Angle, and then all these people get the chamber at No Doubt, and then Undertaker's attacked by Orton, and then that leads up to Orton.
That would have been great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I would run Lesnar at WrestleMania. I would run JBL at Judgment Day. I would run Booker T, where Undertaker wins it at the Bash. I would run Guerrero at SummerSlam. I would run the 4-way at No Mercy. Undertaker loses at Survivor Series. He wins by disqualification at Armageddon. Angle, he defeats Angle at the Royal Rumble. You can even have Undertaker defeating Angle at the Rumble due to some type of distraction by Guerrero. So it like forces Angle to want to be in the chamber because he was like technically screwed. So it's like Undertaker picks up the win by Angle. And then you get all these talent in the chamber. And then just like Elimination Chamber 2010, it's Undertaker against Guerrero at the end. And then Randy Orton makes his presence known by RKOing the Undertaker, and Undertaker loses to Guerrero, setting up the WrestleMania match between Orton.
I wish it would have happened, man. Wish we had a DeLorean.
I gotta tell you, that's all on the fly right there, because I haven't given much thought to the fly. I mean,
well, it's pretty good for being on the fly, man.
It's all on the fly, as you can imagine, because I had to run through like who's on the roster in 04.
Well, there was Taker, there was Kurt, Eddie, JBL, Cena, Rob Van Dam, Rey Mysterio. Yeah. See, but the thing is, why I didn't book Cena in the top of the card in 04 is because I was building him for 05, like how they did.
That's right. He wins the Rumble. That's fine. I don't have.
I wanted him to feel fresh up upon 05 because if I would have,
I would say what they did in 04 Undertaker Cena was fine. They can have Undertaker Cena in a SmackDown match.
Yeah, well, because they saved Cena for 05 while, JBL held the title. I would have done that too, where I had Cena just here, and then once 05 hit, you put him here because he would have been fresh in the main event scene. So yeah. I thought they did that part perfectly. So Cena or Batista, one of the two can win the Rumble, like what happened in real life, and then Cena can win whatever tournament or whatever, and then Cena and Eddie for Mania.
Yeah, and I would book the Rumble like they did. They have Cena.
I love that Rumble match.
Cena and Batista at the end, and then it's like, right in.
I love that ending. Even though the ending was botched, it's like the best Rumble ending ever.
It's like they both get the title matches, and then so Cena's set to take on Guerrero at 21.
Yeah.
And because Orton interferes at the end of the chamber.
Yeah.
And there it goes. So it's like.
And then we still get Angle and Michaels, because I wouldn't have changed that for the world. That match was incredible.
You still get Angle and Michaels. You would still get Undertaker Orton.
Yeah, and then you can still go with the rest of your card, like Batista and Triple H. You can still do, and then the Money in the Bank match. Except I would have had Cena and Eddie go on last. If Cena won the Rumble, I would have had Cena and Eddie. Hey, what's that?
Who goes on last in 21?
Batista and Triple H originally went on last.
Oh.
But like you said, if you would have had Cena win the Rumble, I would have put Cena and Eddie on last.
Yeah, I don't know who I would. I think that how they did the Rumble was fine. It was like no. Does Batista technically win it?
Well, yeah, they had Batista win at the end, throw him out.
Okay, so Batista.
So that's why they put Batista on last with Triple H, and then Cena and JBL went on a little bit lower on.
So you would change it. You would have Cena win the Rumble technically.
If they chose for Cena to win, I think whoever should win the Rumble should go on last. So because you mentioned Cena winning the Rumble, so if Cena was to win the Rumble, I would have put Cena and Guerrero on last because of the Rumble.
Okay.
But if they still had Batista win, I still would have put Batista on last because of the Rumble.
It doesn't make it doesn't matter who wins in my universe, because you still get the same matches.
Well, because WWE likes to do that thing though, where you win the Rumble and you're first on the card instead of the main event.
Yeah, or middle of the card. That's always nice.
So it's I think whoever should win the Rumble should go on last. But
yeah,
that's the meal ticket, So, I mean, is there anything else we got to say? Or
no, I think that sums it up.
All right.
That's a great overview of the episode. You get a really sleeper match, a awful finish, which causes us to rewrite the entire year of Undertaker's career because we don't want Heidenreich. So We
All
don't.
due respect, Heidenreich.
Yeah, of course. All due respect to Heinlein, just in case he watches this video. But yeah, it's matches we like to forget so much. You know what? Let's just rewrite the career. So that's what we did. If any of comments out there you want to rewrite Undertaker's 2004 career, let me know. Drop it in the comments below. I think the ones we did, the ones we touched upon, I think that would have been perfect.
Sounds good, man. I'm
If they would have went with your ideas or mine, I think 04 have been one of the shining years of Undertaker's career.
Possibly, and maybe 06 too in the next episode that we do.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear your 06. Can't wait to
All
hear
right. Well, I'm gonna go get ready to eat dinner. I'm quite hungry. It's 6 o'clock here in Canada,
It's
and
10 to 6 here in Florida.
yeah, so I'm gonna go get ready to eat a WWE size meal. And
What can you say after that?
Rest in peace.
Creatures of the Night, I hope you enjoyed another wonderful watch along with my good friend Keegan Dimitrijevic as we took a look into one of the overlooked parts of Undertaker's career, a match that, shouldn't be forgotten just because the finish is a little crappy. The overall match, as you saw, as you heard us talking, it's very easy to get lost in it. And hope you guys liked the rewrite of his 2004 career, and look forward to the next installment as we take a look back into the final chapter of the Legend versus the Legend Killer, which leads us to the rewrite of Undertaker's 2006 career. And again,
Can't wait.
I want to thank you for joining me here.
You're very welcome.
And what were you going to say before I cut you off?
I think I was gonna say rest in peace again.
Oh.
Most likely, just to end the show.
Of course. There's no better way to end the show than rest in peace. Thank you again, man.
Okay.